think it's one thing to maintain, to engage the fans and make sure the fans are contented. Obviously, the entire ecosystem around the fan is booming, but it's another thing to kind of interfere with sports integrity. So, and that's kind of a next step in the evolution of the digitization of sports, in my mind, from again from linear to non-linear, and now to kind of more Hollywood-like themes rather than just broadcasting and providing additional input and additional content to the fans. So I want to say no, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating question, and I think the net positive impact that a show like Drive to Survive has had on Formula One in terms of the growth of its fan base. I think it was a 40% increase in the United States in the period that it was screened on Netflix. Is amazing. That's a game changer. Sports very rarely have that type of explosive growth in their fan bases. So Drive to Survive is just a great example of how innovation around content creation can be the driver of interest in the sport itself. Whether it has overstepped the mark and influenced the impact of results, I think is a fascinating question. I'm not sure I know the answer though. But I think one thing that you do see increasingly is fans are being pulled into the conversations around content, around rule changes, or around even just things like the jersey colours, and there's voting capabilities, and all types of ways that fans can actually have their say and impact what content is being presented and how it's being presented. So that's a slightly different question, I guess, but I think there's a world of influence that we may increasingly see from the entertainment side and the fan side, and actually has a through effect into the sport itself.
Yeah, the engagement does have an impact. See, it's like if 150 million fans were watching Formula One, say a year back, and now it's 250 million, so those people are going to interact. And with the newer technologies, there is an impact, and there's a lot of money involved. So I think we'll have to work on the integrity of the boards rather than complain about this, because this is just going to grow. It's not stopping here. I think like this is just the beginning. You'll see a lot of changes in technology, you'll see a lot of changes in engagement, and you'll see a big growth in fans. Because the content's getting smaller and smaller, I can watch the whole match in 20 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes. So I don't need to sit there for 2 hours and watch a rugby match, or 10 hours and watch a cricket match. I can watch it in 20 minutes. So you'll see more and more people involved as the time gets down. But the boards have to hang on, not lose their integrity, because they'll have to realize someday, and we lawyers have to make them realize, that if the integrity is gone, the fun in the sports will go.
Thank you, guys. One last question on, I guess, this migration to digital. Has it, or did you see an increase in the digitization during the pandemic, or what kind of effect did the pandemic have on content creation and the delivery of content to fans?
Look, I think there's positives and negatives in terms of the impact that the pandemic had on digitisation and sport generally. There are some structural challenges with professional sport in many markets that predated COVID, in terms of people not declining attendance at matches, people preferring to consume digitally at home. Those dynamics have been in play for many years. But I think COVID was a major accelerator of those impacts. And that's had a financial impact on a lot of clubs that are struggling to diversify their revenue bases and survive even post-COVID. So that's sort of more of a structural financial challenge that I think the pandemic certainly didn't help. But on a more positive side, I think what the pandemic did do was force sports to rethink their strategies in terms of digital delivery, and it really was a catalyst for a lot of investment in new capabilities around digital, around metaverse, around gaming, around some of the more innovative aspects of sports. So those things, again, they were already happening, but I think COVID required them to happen a lot sooner than they would have otherwise. sports are operating. I think we'll see a positive impact from that in the years to come.
Yeah, I won't talk about the bad effects, but you know, when all of us were locked in, we had nothing else to do but watch TV. So that's when everybody demanded more content and people had to innovate and things had to change. So normally, like, I would never have time to watch TV, but for 2 or 3 months when I was locked in, there was not a single match that I would have missed, even if it was played a year back or 2 years back. So there was a lot of innovation as far as online gaming was concerned and fantasy sports was concerned, because there were no real games happening. So that's when this field really developed and took off. And I can say that this is the future of broadcasting or sports encashment.
I agree. In coming to this space from the side of the tech providers, I can say that these companies must should have been agile at that point in time, obviously, and work with their clients in terms of the manner in which they get into deals, the manner in which they maintain their current deals. I can give an example of one of my clients, a company called WC Sports, that once obviously live sports shut down, they started working with their clients on archive materials, obviously, and that provided their clients, the rights owners, the leagues, etc., with certain kind of substitute for the live sports. Obviously, we've encountered other kind of we were required to be more agile in the manner in which we negotiate the terms of the deal, in view of the fact there's no live sports, providing certain kind of ways to the clients that came to the territory back at the time.
One other comment on